Left you on a little bit of a cliffhanger in the last video. 2 out of the 3 things happened in order for this to fit perfect. As a standalone cabinet, it works great. But what it has to do is match up with a cabinet over here and a cabinet down there. There's a countertop that goes from here to the other standing cabinet. This door here is going to be the exact same size as the door there. Same thing on the bottom. Everything has to match the existing kitchen and those already installed cabinets. That's why I made this face frame to match those cabinets, and why I made these boxes to match this face frame. This side here is getting a white painted panel put in. So here it is, loosely put in place. Nothing is screwed together. I have done some minor shimming on the bottom here, but so far things are looking really good. I am gonna have to cut off a little bit on the top. So the ceiling dips off like this, and the floor goes up like this, and the walls are also. This cabinet here doesn't have any shims on it right now. Didn't need to be shimmed up to the next cabinet, because the next cabinet here didn't exist when this one went in. So this cabinet here will have to get shimmed out just a hair. This used to be a chimney. If you want to see me remove this chimney, there's a whole video series on removing a chimney that used to go right here. It's all making sense now. So as far as how flush this is, keep in mind it's not screwed together. See how tight that is? That's just a shadow there. Perfect. Here's a quick shot of what it looks like with the face frame off. Full shim under this side here. I did leave the toe kick off so that I could get back and shim that back corner. So I'm back in the workshop to make my final adjustment on the face frame. At this stage, it is a friction fit into the hole. And that hole is not perfectly square. The wall goes one way, ceiling goes another, floor goes another. So I need a little bit of wiggle room. There's only so much shimming I can do with the cabinets. The hole, I can't shim a wall, can't shim the ceiling, so I need to create some space. I'm going to take a 1/2 blade thickness off this thick side, and I'm probably going to take a full 1/8 to 1/4 off the top. Keep in mind this top is going to get maybe 1.5 1.25 inch trim around the entire thing. Let's see if I can feed this through here and take a 1/2 blade off. If you're wondering, the brand new miter saw is sitting right over there. The Germans make this one. What do you think that little lever does? It's got lots of little levers all over it. There is a full initial review up on Patreon of the saw that is sitting right over there. Sure, everything is just right. Looking good. That wasn't quite a 1/2 blade. It was more of a 1/4 of a blade. Okay, now I gotta chop off the top here. Earlier in this video series, I told you that about 10 years ago, I would never have taken on a project like this of building anything custom, any sort of cabinetry. And I had been in business, fully self-employed, remodeling houses and repairing houses for about 7 years at that time. The next phase of this cabinet build reminds me of a job that I had to turn down. I had no idea how to make the repair. So I'm out there building the fence. He comes over, he says, hey, come take a look at these cabinets I got in my living room. Keep in mind, this is a pretty expensive area. And I go over and I look at this giant wall of cabinets. That's built-ins. and it looked pretty much exactly like this. It looked like maple, pre-finished maple. Well, what happened is all the edge banding, well, not all of it, a lot of the edge banding on this guy's cabinet system had started coming off. And he said, do you know how to fix this? Had no idea. It's probably 7 years ago, 8 years ago. So edge banding is very, very simple. This happens to be pre-finished maple with glue on the back. Got some unfinished red oak. I've got a couple different kinds here. It comes real thick. This here I used on a door. I think I used this on a door, or maybe this is all I could find in stock wherever I went. You can find this stuff at Lowe's, Home Depot. You can get it on Amazon. There are online woodworking stores where you can get higher quality edge banding with better glue. So this just sits right up here like this, and you iron it on, and you clip it off, and you do the next one. Let me go grab this other tool over here. There's another tool here. This trims the edge banding just perfectly. I believe this is made by FastCap. FastCap is, I believe it's an American company. I don't think this thing is made in the United States though, but I could be wrong. But they make a lot of different woodworking type stuff. I'll show you a close-up of how this works here in just a second. Give yourself a little overhang and snip through it. 10 snips work. You can do it with just about whatever you want. Take your iron, no steam obviously, and it's just like hot glue. I've never messed it up. I'm sure you could leave it on here too long and burn it or something. You can use a razor blade to trim this. Here's a close-up of what it looks like before it's trimmed off. So inside of here are razor blades. You can go from this direction, and flip it around and go from this direction to this direction. So you've got quite a bit of uses before. Look at that. Before your blades dull. If you do screw it up, you can just melt it, pull it off, and scrape it off and put some more on. Just using a clamp to hold it in place. Should have taken that job if I knew how to iron on some sticky wood. Sticky wood tape is basically what this is. Iron on wood tape. You want to go pretty quick so that you don't get any tear out. Just showing you that you can do it with a razor blade. If you're in a pinch. All done. So all these kitchen cabinets that are in my workshop, I took these out of a customer's house and installed them here. These are builder grade oak cabinets. Really nice cabinets. These are from 1994. Look at this shelf. Edge banding has come loose. This is very, very common. This here isn't even wood, but it looks like wood, so it does the job. If you've got this problem in your house, stuff is coming loose, just get out your iron. You may be able to re-iron it, but you could re-glue that down in many different ways, or you can buy some edge banding off of Amazon and iron it back on. This is just one example of where edge banding is used inside of a house, and it comes loose and needs to be repaired. Time to build the doors. The upper and the lower have to match the existing upper and lower height. So those are a given. My middle cabinet, not quite sure how tall it's going to be. I have a good guess that it's going to be 24.5. But I want to get the upper and the lower laid out on the frame to see the correct spacing for the height of that middle cabinet. I wanted to go over a couple of my measurements and drawings and how I figure out what my cut list is, and this still could be incorrect. The only specialty tool you're going to need to make these doors are a set of router bits and a router table. Probably could get away with just using a dado stack and a table saw. It would work. You could shim it and make it work, but it's easier to dial this in. And if you've watched me build doors in the past, it takes a little bit of dialing to go up and down, quite a bit of measuring, so that this tongue and this groove are dead center of your boards. And then when they go together, they're not offset, and you gotta sand a whole bunch off of a lip there or something. This is a 1-to-1 scale of this set of bits. Since so many people loved my splitting awl as a stop from a previous video, I thought I'd use it again. It really made some guys quite angry. I'll get some T-track mounted in here so I can get some proper stop blocks. Now that one cut that made so many people angry is I moved the saw. I jiggled it a little bit. And this is that cut right there. I don't know if those guys probably can't read that. I do have serial killer handwriting, but it says bad cut. I did recut that piece. Sliding it down 18 3/4 of an inch. Did I move it? You guys watch close. Zoom in. Gonna focus. There's a test run. Pretty crisp cut there, isn't it? Not bad for a Handyman homemade router table. Just wanted to point out the tools I use. This little brass measuring device is how I set that up and got it, well, perfect on the first try. Doesn't always turn out that way. They come in various sizes. I'll leave a link down below for you. Remote controller. Put the remote over there. Get this beach going. I'm going to cut the video right here on you. Next time, I'll show you how I build the doors, paint the doors, install the doors, and show you the final product. I'll also tell you the final cost breakdown of materials and labor. Make sure you're subscribed. Please hit the like button. And if you'd like to get a caulking on your shirt or your hat, I'll put a link in the top of the description to my website, thehandyman.store. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.